Am I visible and audible? A very good morning to respected sir and my dear fellow classmates. Today is the second day of our presentation, and today I am going to present on a character sketch of Mr. B in Samuel Richardson's novel Pamela. This is my personal details that you can see here. In table of contents, I am going to present some important points. Life of Samuel Richardson, introduction about the text, difference between moral and ethics, good and bad characteristics of Mr. B, unethical behavior of Mr. B with Pamela, and last, the purpose of my presentation. Let's begin my presentation about the life of Samuel Richardson. Richardson was the son of a London joiner. His life period was from 1689 to 1761. The boy received very little education, but he had a talent for writing letters, and even as a boy, we find him frequently employed by working class girls to write love letters for them. He was a keen observer of manners, and his surprisingly accurate descriptions often compel us to listen. At the age of 17 years, he went to London and learned the printer's trade, which he followed to the end of his life. So, Samuel Richardson, an English writer and important literary figure of the neoclassical or 18th century era. Introduction about the text. Pamela or Virtue Rewarded is an epistolary novel written by Samuel Richardson. Epistolary novel means a novel which is written in a form of letters. It was appeared in the bookstalls of London in November 1740. This novel is about Pamela Andrew, whose virtue had suffered in the hands of her overly amorous master, Mr. B. Richardson presented the adventures and misadventures of a young girl who had been taken from her parents at a very tender and young age. This novel, published in 4 volumes, extending over the years 1740 and 1741. So here we can understand that this novel, Pamela or Virtue Rewarded, is about a protagonist, Pamela Andrew, which is only 15 years of age, and our second character, Mr. B, age around 25 to 26, and we can find him correct. We can find his character as a mature one. But from the behavior of Mr. B towards Pamela, we can understand that he was not mature but immature, because the way he became obsessed with Pamela and tried to have an intimate relationship with Pamela. So in that way we can understand that his character was an immature, and throughout the novel Pamela tried her best to keep her virtue safe from his master, Mr. B. What is the difference between ethics and morals? Ethics and morals both are representing in a way that what is right and what is wrong, or what is good or what is bad. But here I have differentiate between both of them, that ethics and morals. Ethics means individual's thought, and morals means socially learned. We are connected with morals, what is socially learned to us. Ethics are reflective and morals are largely unconscious. Ethics, generalized sense of good and evil, and morals, relatively specific and apparently self-evident, desirable and undesirable. And morals are the power of moral sense shows. Ethical principles are general and universal, and morals are specific and situational. So, Here is the points about the difference between ethics and morals, that ethics are one individual person's thought, that what according to him or her, what is his or her thinking, and morals mean what exists in our society. That way we can connect the things of ethics and morals. Okay, good and bad characteristics of Mr. B. Richardson's characterization of Mr. B and double purpose in the novel Pamela. At the beginning of the story, his mother, Lady B, dies. He was ready to give Pamela money also. Mr. B becomes a good man who, at all cost, wants to recognize and be good to people, but his intentions were not at all good. In this novel, the character and behavior of Mr. B is a bit questionable. So, good and bad characteristics of Mr. B. From this point, we can come to know that though Mr. B had done very wrong thing with Pamela, he continues try to be with her in a physical way. He tried to, he obsessed with her. He came up with a false marriage plan, and he wants to sleep with her. All these things happen throughout the novel, and how throughout the novel, Pamela tried his best to keep her virtue safe. Unethical behavior of Mr. B with Pamela, that how Mr. B behaved with our protagonist Pamela. Mr. B is a type of character who was unwillingly to take Pamela's virtuousness against her will. He came up with so many false plans. When Pamela was writing letters to her beloved parents, she wrote 29 letters, but two are taken by Mr. B. And here, from this image, we can understand that when Pamela was writing letter to her parents, Mr. B find that thing, that what he is writing in her letters. Pamela and Mr. B were not having any kind of relationship. So Mr. B cannot or should not touch and kiss Pamela whenever he wants or wishes. Though last in the novel, Mr. B and Pamela both married to each other, but still from the starting of the novel, Mr. B continue tries to be with her, and Pamela try to keep herself from Mr. B. But Pamela and Mr. B were not having any kind of relationship from the starting of the novel, and so that is why Mr. B cannot and should not touch and kiss Pamela according to the wish of Mr. B. Here I have put three images, famous paintings on Pamela, and these paintings are done by Joseph Edison, who was a famous painter. Purpose of the presentation. So, my purpose of today's particular presentation, that in neoclassical era, why I have selected this particular topic as my presentation, because though the story is of 18th century, but in today's time we can relate these things also. In contemporary times, women are facing the same situation what Pamela had faced and suffer in the novel. My reason for choosing the character of Mr. B is because today the society seems to be full with persons like Mr. B. He can be your relative, neighbor, friend, or anyone. Women badly need to recognize such evils of society, like what happened in the novel Pamela, that first of all, Pamela was not aware about the intentions of Mr. B, but when the things happened more and more, Pamela came to know that Mr. B's intentions are not good, and she informed to her parents, and he also wants to run away from all these things. And in today's contemporary time, we can also relate this situation with women, that how our society is full with the persons like Mr. B, and it can be anyone, like it can be our relative, our neighbor, our friend, anyone. I mean, we cannot recognize them. And but what is important and what is most necessary in today's time, that we need to identify and recognize the people that are they taking our advantages in a good way or bad way, or are they taking our advantages in what way. So we need to identify them. That is the most important thing. These are my work citations, and now you can ask me any questions.
According to you, what is the meaning of the title name Pamela?
Sorry, can you bit louder?
According to you, what is the meaning of the title name Pamela?
Title. Okay. Yes, because the novel is about the our all about our protagonist Pamela, who continued tried to keep her virtue safe from his masters, and that is why the title reflects. That is why the title reflects that how Pamela tried her best throughout the novel, and that is why the title is of the name of the character who was the protagonist. Anyone else? Yes.
Hettel, how his behavior changes towards Pamela.
Sorry.
How his meaning Mr.
He's
B, Mr.
Mr.
B's
B's behavior.
behavior changes towards Pamela.
Okay, how Mr. B's behavior changes towards Pamela. Okay, so when Mr. B came up with the false plan of marriage and tried to sleep with Pamela, but at that time also Pamela came to know about his plan, and she ran away from that. And after that incident, Mr. B realizes that now should not now I shouldn't do these things with Pamela. And at last, he confessed his love towards Pamela, and that is from that incident, Mr. B's behavior changes towards Pamela.